Hello, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. And this week on the Old Magic, we have got a Dinky Toys Sunbeam Rapier. There you go. As you watch this go round, I'd just like to welcome all the friends of the channel, old and new. Thanks very much for taking the time out watching the videos and commenting. It's most appreciated. Thank you very much. Okay, as you can see, we've got a bit of a mess here, but we're going to bring it back to factory fresh or best we can. So let's get it off the magic, get it on a bench, get some tools out, see what we need to do. Alrighty, look at this Sunbeam Rapier. There you go. And it's number 166. Okay, Sunbeam Rapier. I had one of these for about, let's have a look, 6-8 weeks. Yeah, you could pick these up when I was a youngster, when I started driving. Pick these sort of things up really cheap. And I was going past this second-hand garage. I've been paid. And there was a white one in there with a red soft top. It was, and a red soft top on it. Sunbeam Rapier. Nice car, but when you're a youngster, you know, I mean, you could just get what you could afford. And in them days, you think these old cars, you know, now when I was younger, you know, this was an old Gronker, like something like your granddad or your dad would drive around in. When you're sort of like that age, 17, 18, you know what I mean? You was after more the upmarket stuff, you know. But needs must, had to get to work, had to get around, had to impress the ladies. So, you know, what better than a Sunbeam Rapier convertible in white and red? Yeah. Flipping thing kept breaking down, doesn't it? But, you know, you learn as you go. You know, fixing these old things up when you're a youngster, you know, you always carry your toolbox in the boot. You don't need to nowadays, but I always had a toolbox in the boot. You know, all sorts of things. I had a beer can, a couple of empty beer cans for, you know, if the exhaust split, some Jubilee clips, you name it, jump leads, spare dizzy cap, spark plug lead. You carried a lot, didn't you? Foot pump, you know, and all that, yeah. Dear me, them were the days. Never a dull moment, mate, never a dull moment. And you got your big bag of cassettes, or your little suitcase down here with your cassettes in it. Yeah, your Barry White and all them. Yeah, you gotta love it, ain't you, eh? Right, anyway, let's get on with this enough waffle. It's been overpainted, obviously you can see that. Don't quite know what's going on with that. CX200 or something, I don't know. And a big error. Maybe somebody thought we were going to do a banger race out of it. Oh wow, that's handy, isn't it? I don't think it's IRA. That's good, isn't it? Eh? And something IRA something bump. It's probably just a banger car, I would say. This way up, yeah, I think somebody tried to make a banger out of it. There you go. Anyway, painted windscreen. Let's get it stripped out. 2 posts to drill out. Okay, let me get the tools out and we'll have a go at this. Okay, yeah, I've drilled the base out. You can see she's a bit bent, and that's not for me pulling it up. It's just it was under tension. That back end was bent. Right, let's get this off. So you can straighten that out. That's not a problem. Get them hubs off. We'll grind them off. Right. Now we've got a fixed in window. So I've got the soldering iron warmed up, and hopefully it should work. Let's get a bit, see if we can get it in nice and close for you, so have a look. It's a thick one. Let's see if that's good. Let's see if that's going to pop out. There you go. She's out. Nice hole. There you go. Job done. Yeah. If anybody's interested, that's a soldering iron, just a cheap soldering iron. But you make sure it's one. If you're going to do this, make sure it's one what this actual piece heats up. And all I did was took the tip out and drilled the hole a bit better. I'm going in, it's blinking hot. Drilled the hole out and put an edge on it. Okay, I'll turn it off now. Yeah, there you go. So that's that. So that's out now. As you can see, it's been painted. I think it's felt pen by looking at it. So that'll go. I've got some chrome pieces in here. Let's get out a bit. I've got some chrome pieces in here from the Ford Taunus. So I'll just, I normally use oven cleaner to get the paint off. I'm going to chuck it in there and see what it does in there. Alright, this is the Dettol. I'm leaving it close to where I'm working because last time I put something in Dettol, I forgot all about it. I left it for nearly a week and I'll tell you, it absorbed it. All the Dettol went into the plastic and it made it really soft. Right, so yeah, we just grind these ends off. Okay, and then we're done. Get the caustic. Here we are on the old Sunbeam Rapier. All the paint come off, no problem. This is a Series 1, 1957. This one, not the Series 2. This is Series 1. Quite a few in two-tone here, so I've got to choose a colour. I'm leaning towards blue on the roof, bonnet, boot, and like an ivory here, if I remember correctly. What I'm doing at the minute is getting rid of the casting lines. I've been looking on Google Images, one for a colour choice and two to see where the casting lines are. I was a bit short on the bonnet here. There's one across the front there. It's too high on the bonnet, that needs to get rid of. I've done some work around the window screen. There was some snot on there. I've flattened out. I run the file down the waistline here, so if I want to scrape it, I get a smoother scrape. Excuse me. Yeah, this chrome waistline, if you want to scrape it, you need to make it smooth before you paint it, so your knife runs along. Otherwise, it's going to judder and scrape. So, and there's a casting line here. I've just started on this one, and it's quite prominent that side there. So what we do is get this type of file and just gently, don't overdo it too much, just gently take it away, let the file do the work, so you don't leave too many deep scratches in your casting. And just, you know, I mean, sometimes it's still a little bit visible, but it's not as bad as it would have been if you hadn't touched it. So that's what we're doing here at the minute, basically cleaning it all up. Cleaning it all up. Make it look a bit more respectable. So just gently get rid of it. You use a range of different files. What I find, because these are quite narrow, you can use, especially if you're going along the edges, because sometimes these things get smacked about when they've been played with, and these fine edges get bent. So what I normally try and do is just run the file along the edge to keep, try and get it back into shape. Just, you know, just look at it and see where it's being chewed and do your best you can to do it, especially along this waistline. Like I said, you want to scrape it around the wheel arches. Normally gets banged here, 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 and places like that. So we're getting rid of the casting lines anyway. And just basically getting a bit of a tidy up. Yeah, there we go, that's it. Because the two-tone paint will come right down to the bottom there. Same with the bonnet. I won't spend too long on this one. I've been on it 3 minutes. The rest of the video is going to be too long. But you get the general idea. And then just get rid of it. Try not to lose any of your other detail, what's nearby. Around here, you see you've got the bonnet emblem. You be careful around there. I've already gone down both sides of the chrome piece on there to give it a definite shape. Yeah, just gently get rid of it. You can do it with a bit of sandpaper if you want, you know, whatever you feel comfortable doing. But like I say, don't go too harsh with it, or else you'll leave too many big scratches like that in it. Okay. You can go with a knife if you want as well, and just thin it down. If you've got a knife handy, if you want to do that, not that one, that's a good one. Get an oldish knife, yeah, that'll do. And you can just gently scrape the top of it off, you know, just gently there. Pick at it a little bit. Just gently, and you can scrape it as well if you want. Just get it, because it's got a big, like a big snot there, look. You need to get rid of that. These are quite soft, these castings, so be wary of that. Along this edge here. Because you could mistake this for the actual opening of the bonnet, but the opening of the bonnet is further down there, right on top of that grill. So this is a definite casting line. Right, I'm going to carry on working on this, get it as smooth as I can. Okay. And we'll come back when it's painting time. This is our little Sunbeam Rapier. What I've done at the moment, it's been primed and I painted it ivory, forward ivory. I've gone heavy on the sides and the roof because that's what's going to be ivory. And then the other colour will be a classic colour. I was going to go red, changed my mind, thought about blue, changed my mind again. And we're going for another colour. You'll see in a minute. Well, not in a minute. Well, you will actually in a minute, but not for me. So what I'm going to do, as always, I'll mask up one side. So basically I'm going to bring the tape in up to that edge inside there. From there, cut back there on both sides. And on the roof, we're going to mask it there. The roof, leave the front pillars because they're going to be the same as the front bit here. Okay. Now, that's what I'm going to do. I picked now to do it because at the moment the sun's out, it's a warm day, and I want to get this masked and painted and demasked. Yeah. Or else I don't like to leave masking tape too long on when it's warm, because it leaves sticky residue. If you leave it on too long and it's a warm day, you'll get sticky residue left on here. I know you do get it anyway, but not as bad. Okay, so there we go then. So I'll get all my stuff together and I'll do one side and I'll cut back in when I'm just doing this bit here, and I'll just show you how I run along there. Now this line here, this coach line here, I'm going to be scraping that line there because I've already smoothed it off prior to painting. Okay. Right, we've got to do this again now. I was recording it and my missus came up the garden path, saw the shed door open and me sitting there, and then she, yeah, yeah. And I said, can't you see I'm recording? Never mind. So I've had to stop it. Anyway, here we were. Done all this side. Done the roof. So what I do normally, get my tape and I butt it up against that line there. Okay, on this one. Get your sharp knife. As you can see, once you butt it up and go over this line, you can see, you get your toothpick or your cocktail stick, which you like to call it, and follow that line with your edge on the edge, and you'll get the shape that you need. Okay, like that. And get your sharp knife. And be careful, because I've noticed in the hot weather that this tape, or most tapes, gets soft. The glue gets soft, and it becomes a pain because it wants to move when you get round with your knife. So don't put too much pressure on your knife as you're going around. See what I mean? Well, I just pulled that there and did that on purpose just to show you. Look, see that moving? So it's a bit of a thing, really. You don't want the taped. You want to paint in decent weather, but you don't want the tape to blinking move all over the place, if you can help it. So let's see what we got now. Should be near enough, and it bloody gets stuck everywhere, doesn't it? Look. Okay, right, that's good enough. So not too fussed about this coastline getting scratched, because I'm gonna do it anyway. I'll push that all down there. Push that all down in there. And to put a bit on the back corner there. What I'll do now is just tuck that under, out of the way. There you go. Yeah, I just gonna put a little tiny bit in there. So that's essentially what we're looking at. Yeah, it's all going to be blue, not blue. It was blue. It's going to be something else now. All around there, Just got to put a little bit in that corner there, and it's a job to know, you see, because that's always going to be one colour, and then you've got that coming down there, it's halfway. So I will put, yeah, that one's okay, that side. This one's a bit in here. So there we go. There we go. So I need to get it finished, get the paint on, get the tape off. That's what I'm going to do. Depending on the weather, I usually leave it in, and the paints that I use, the Halfords and the high coats and the acrylics, so don't take long to dry. You can peel it back in 15-20 minutes. Just be careful with it when you do it. Alrighty. This is it. That's the paint. This is the paint I've used. I used that that Highland Heather. Just a second. Where is it? What have I done with it? What have I done? Where is it? There it is. Highland Green. Yeah, sorry about that. Highland Green on this one. Ford Highland Green. I've used it before. Good colour, good classic colour. I use that with the Ford Ivory, and I think it looks quite nice. Now, I've scraped around the window there and around the back and this side, and I've scraped down there. Alright, you can see I did sand and smooth it beforehand, but there's still a few pits in it. Now, you can use different tools for scraping. This is a good tool, a curved one for scraping. Okay, make sure it's sharp though, but I've got a few of these here. These are double-sided blades, so you should be bloody careful with these, and you can't buy them in the shops. This is from an industrial machine that I used to use years ago, and I got a whole packet of these blades. Now, I have showed this before, and I'm going to show it again. And hopefully I'm not going to regret this because it's on camera. What you need to do is, because the bigger the blade, or you're using this sort of blade, keep it away from any high parts, what you're going to do, because if you're going to do from this side, and you're going to lean your blade back, you've got a chance of scratching this here. So I will tend to do it from this side. Alright, I'm going to start off with this because I know this will get underneath the paint. Well, your aim is trying to get underneath the paint layers. This has been cleared or lacquered, and it's had primer and it's got paint on it. So, and I have gone over it, as you saw earlier, and I've smoothed all this coach line out best I can. I mean, otherwise you can't smooth it down too far because you'll lose it completely and then you'll never scrape it. So, right, pick a straight area and just get underneath, just gently, just because then you can feel the bottom. Yeah, I'll just zoom in a bit, so you can feel the bottom, feel your edge, and just gently, and you'll feel it, and you can go along. And get it. When you get to like this roof, I'm there, the roof of my thumb, and stop and reposition yourself. Okay. You might not get it all first time. You have to go back over it because sometimes you'll get a little bit of residue, sticky stuff on it. You need to get rid of. Okay. All right. So look, there you go. We're getting there. So a bit of repositioning. Move on. When you come across something which is stopping you from getting a smooth pass at it, then stop, check, see what it is, and go from a different angle. Because it might be the fact that there's a piece in there that's stopping you, you know, a slight pitfall. Okay, and get rid of that. I don't want that in the way. Okay. Or you can start with this knife, just gently on the side. In fact, I call it scraping, but in fact it's, I don't know, you could call it chiseling really, because scraping is like that, and you don't really want to be doing that. The idea is to get underneath the paint layers and just slide your knife along underneath. Yeah, like you was peeling something, really. Okay, so that's how it's done. I'm not going to do it all because I need to concentrate. Okay, and I advise you not to drink any coffee before you do this, because you will start to shake. That's what coffee does to you. And try and find a quiet time to do it when there's nobody going to disturb you, because the worst thing is somebody come along and say something to you, and you lose concentration and you scratch all your paint. Then you will be naffed off big time. Yeah, there's a door handle there, so I'm going to try and gently attack it from this side. Bearing in mind, always watching where your knife is. Okay. Just see like it's jerking a bit there, so this is a little bit awkward. So you got to, it takes a bit of practice, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But it's worth doing it if you want to try it out. Yeah. Really worth doing it. There you go, we've got a run on it now. Try and keep your hand as steady as you can, because you don't want to go and rock it. If you chip it and you can't touch it up, what's the worst thing that can happen? You've got to repaint it. Yeah. That's the worst thing that can happen. But then if it's successful, then it's cool. You're cool. Here we got it now, look, there you go. Just gently. There you go. The reason I didn't use this knife over here is because I forgot to sharpen it. I wouldn't recommend using I wouldn't recommend using this type of thing, because it's got a real sharp tip to it. If you're not careful, if that digs in, make a mess. You can use, if you can, razor blades. I've used those before, the Wilkinson's razor blades, not a problem. Just be careful you don't cut yourself, because there's not worth some blood all over the place, is there? You don't want that, do you? Right, okay, how long have we been at? 7 minutes I've been showing you this. So that's basically it, look, there you go. Looks all right, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, the surface is a bit rough because, like I say, if you can spend the time smoothing this off before you put your primer and before you put your paint on, then it'll make it all that much easier for when you slide your knife across. But depending on what size how thick this line is that you're scraping, if you sand too much off, then you're not going to be able to scrape it, because your knife is going to be rubbing on the bodywork. So be careful. All right, it's just got to do that curve there, and I'm going to need to concentrate for that. So bugger off. Okay, detail painting time. Right, we're going to start with this one. Headlights, straight grille, bumper. There are two little lights in there. On the Google Images, they're coming up like silver. Well, what we use silver, meaning clear. But I think they had coloured bulbs in them for indicators, so I'm going to leave them silver. Back, the usual red and orange. Chrome bumper, chrome bit above there, and then there's the boot lock, which is quite big actually compared to the fuel cap, which is this side. So anyway, we'll do what we can do. Okay, look on there. Right, we'll do what we can do. I'm just looking here somewhere. Right, here we go. Got your paint. Start with the lights this time, I think. This paint's been hardening for a few days now, so it's okay. I won't get any fingerprints in it. Also, I would have worn a glove. Excuse the noise outside. The guys what they call the highway department, or the local authority, they're doing the grass outside in the street. These have big eyebrows on these, chrome eyebrows, so we've got to paint these in. And what I can make out, this is a Mark 1 Series 1, the first, you can tell by the grill, parallel grill on it. The other ones that you see more common with a different grill up in the front there and two side bits. A lot of these two doors were pillarless. Didn't have that pillar come up and down with the windows. You will see a lot of them with without that door pillar there. It was a chrome piece that came up and down. I think the back window had a piece of chrome edging on it, and so did the front, so it went up and down on there, but Dinky didn't do that. So we're just gently going around here now. Try and get a bit of paint on the outside of there. This is a tricky bit. Get into look right. Try and follow the casting line if you can. I was manoeuvring it around. Less is more, if you know what I mean. Better put a little bit less in and then gradually inch your way forward, rather than start with a big load. What I need to get is a cocktail stick. I always keep a cocktail stick handy, because if you do go over the lines, you can just wet it in your mouth and just quickly rub it off before, but don't leave it on too long. Let it dry too long, because you'll end up having to scrape it off, and then you'll end up peeling your paint back. So wary of that. And obviously in the hot weather, what I tend to do is every now and again I'll dip the brush in thinners and clean it, keep it soft, because the paint will dry quickly on your brush. Just take your time. There you go, that's one headlight done. Okay, I'm going to carry on and do the rest of it now. Alright, I'll show you that demo bit. I'll carry on the rest and I'll show you when it's all done. That's it then. All the details painted on. Number plates on. There's the back. Now I've gone ahead and put the windscreen in because I needed that to dry. Okay. Because I glued it, I needed it to dry before I mess about. Yeah, so we're all done. Got the wheels back on. All chromed up with new tyres. So really all I've got to do now is just screw the base to there. So I'm not even going to bother getting the magic carpet out for that. So next time you'll see this, it'll be on the magic roundabout. Okay. This is what we started with. Dinky Toys Sunbeam Rapier. Yeah, as you can see, severely overpainted, painted glass, everything else. So now, have a look, see how we did, see what you think, and here it is. Have a look at this. Here we are, all done and dusted. Dinky Toys Sunbeam Rapier in the classic colours, extra detailing. There you go. What do you think of that? Scraping down the sides, around the windows, around the frames, polished up hubs, new tyres. He's had the lot. Got that windscreen up nice and clean. Yeah, looking good. There you go. Yep. Okay. Yeah, quite pleased this one. Nice. Alright then, I'm going to try and do a couple of outside shots. It's early morning here, it's about 7 o'clock in the morning. So I'll do a couple of outside shots. So I'll see you next week. with it's a donations and purchases next week. Yeah, so I'll see you then. So whatever you're doing, be lucky, be happy, and enjoy yourselves. We'll see you next week. Bye for now. Don't forget the outside shots.